happens when the protagonist is truly evil. Oswald Cobblepot is not just the typical villain you come to sympathize with. The character is pure evil that knows no bounds.
Dark character.
Through his ambition, the series reveals Oz through nature, a man willing to betray, manipulate, and destroy anyone to accomplish his goal.
You stole from the wrong guy.
And this series does an excellent job of showing us a truly evil protagonist. That's why I want to analyze Oz in depth to find out why this series finally knew how to portray a protagonist that's truly an evil villain. The Penguin is one of the best series in all of DC, and I don't think it's just one of the best series in the DC universe, but one of the best in general when we talk about series based on comics. Every episode of this series gets better than the last. When I was watching The Penguin, I was quite amazed at the way the series managed to maintain incredible quality episode after episode. Every episode made me say, this is cinema. Likewise, Penguin managed to bring to perfection the vision that Matt Reeves has with the universe he wants to give to Robert Pattinson's Batman. The series immerses you in this nightmarish world of corruption and violence that Gotham City can be, from the incredible but terrifying Arkham prison to the dangerous neighborhoods of Gotham and the different types of gangster groups that exist. It is also impressive that no actor in this series is bad. We have an impeccable cast. Kristen Milioti as Sofia Falcone was definitely one of my favorite characters. Episode 4 is indeed one of my favorites of the series, and every time Sofia was on screen, she stole the show. Kristen Milioti gave a perfect interpretation of Sofia Falcone, making her a very interesting character as well as having a spectacular character development. But as well as Kristen, the other actors are crazy good too. Renzi Happy as Victor, Clancy Brown as Maroni, Carmen Egodio as the Penguin's mom, and obviously the Penguin himself, Colin Farrell.
Characters that are so clear and so deep and so meaty.
Each actor and actress works perfect in their role and helps you immerse yourself more in this world of madness that is Gotham. And one of the things that this series finally accomplished is giving us the true portrayal of a villain, showing us the true nature of Oswald Cobblepot. But how did this series pull it off?
The most hated here among us is yours truly.
In The Penguin, we follow Oswald Cobblepot in his ambition to rise to the top and become the new kingpin of Gotham. The series begins just after the events of the Batman, showing us a city devastated by flaws caused by the Riddler, and a power vacuum in the criminal world following the death of Carmine Falcone. This creates the perfect opportunity for Oswald to claim his place, facing challenges and enemies on his way to the throne of crime in Gotham City. This plot works perfectly because it allows us to understand the true nature of the Penguin, and by doing so reveals just how despicable he can be, while at the same time being a series that shows us a villainous protagonist who is truly evil, making us viewers come to hate him. And that protagonist is Oswald Cobblepot. Oswald Cobblepot is an amazing character, but at the same time he's terrible. Oz is an ambitious person who seeks power and will do anything to get it. And when I say anything, it's absolutely anything. Oz doesn't care how many people he has to murder, torture, and betray to achieve his goals.
Oz knows the world is a cruel place, and you either get to live beneath the cruelty as a victim of it, or impose the cruelty on those who deserve it more than you.
Oz is pure evil, and boy does this series manage to portray this at its finest. I know several people who didn't really know the Penguin's backstory or understand why a series about Oswald Cobblepot would be interesting, and however, this series did such a good job of portraying the character that it managed to pique the interest of many people who didn't imagine how fascinating, complex, and cruel he could be. You see, it is thanks to this series that we can better understand the character, his purpose, his motivations, and the story behind him. Oz wants to be the king of Gotham, and this is quite clear from the beginning of the series when he tells this story to Alberto about this gangster that everyone admired from the place he grew up. This clearly shows that Oz is a character who wants power, he wants to be recognized and for people to shout his name.
Can you imagine to be remembered like that?
But that's not his only motivation, as he also wants to make his mother proud and wants to give her all kinds of luxuries because of a promise he made to her when he was a child. And you might say, how cute, maybe the Penguin isn't as bad as he looks. But no, the cruel reality is that his mother is just another tool to get what he wants. I'll talk about this in a bit, just wait for me. And all this stuff Oz wants is reflected in him from his childhood. In one of the episode series, we get a glimpse into Oz's childhood. Here we are shown that as a child, Oz was a rather despicable person, feeling envious of his siblings as he felt they stole the attention that his mother could give him. He also looked up to this neighborhood gangster and was eager to enter this world of criminals. Seeing Oz's childhood really makes you see the true nature of the character. Since childhood, Oz has been a despicable person. He doesn't have some sort of event that changed changed his life, giving him a reason to be evil. No, Oz is a person who was born with evil in him. The fact that he decided to kill his own siblings is a sign of this. It is proof of how far Oz is capable of going to get what he wants. It also shows us that the only person he cares about is himself. And seeing his childhood is just one way they show us how evil Oz can be, because where they really show us all the darkness of the character is through the different characters in the series and how it affects each of their lives. And we need to start with Oz's main motivation, his mother. Oz has loved his mother since he was a child. She's probably the only person besides him that he loves, even a little. In one episode he even says that his mother is the only person who keeps him a good person. I mean, Oz, I think we need to talk about your definition of a good person. I don't know, I'm just being silly here. Honestly, I think Oz does love his mother, but I also feel that he uses her in a way to make himself feel good about himself. I think his mother is sort of a tool to somehow justify all the evil he's causing to other people. He tells his mother himself that everything he has done is for her, and I feel that in some ways this is true, but also part of me believes that the Penguin is so selfish and evil that he's trying to find a way to put all these burdens somewhere else, making him feel better about himself, knowing that he has a purpose that, according to him, it's not for his own benefit. It's like, okay, I kill, betray, and affect a lot of people's life, but hey, my mother's happy in a house, which I rarely visit. And this is why Oz has this desire to have his mother approval. He wants to be told to his face that he's doing the right thing, that all the evil he has committed is justified. And he's so blind in his own self-centeredness that he can't see and understand what a cruel and bad person he is.
He doesn't think he's a bad person, but you wouldn't call him a good guy.
Oz is a character that even his mother doesn't love him, and her mother also doesn't believe in this "I'm doing it for you" act. His mother knows perfectly well that her son is pure evil. She has known it all along, and he proved it since that night when he came home without his brothers.
I got the devil in my house, Max.
And this comes evident when, despite the fact that his mother is the most important thing to him, he's completely willing to let her lose a finger just to keep up the lie that he was the one who really killed his brother. You can even see it in Sophia's face. Even she's like, "Us? Really? Are you that ratty and disgusting?"
What's wrong?
This just proves that Oz is a person who only thinks of himself, and that not even the person that he loves the most is safe from being betrayed by what a terrible person he is. And it makes you realize that no one is important enough to him but himself. Not his mom, not his siblings, not the person who was all the series supporting him and helping him to get to the top. Vic. Vic is a character who saw Oz as family, and sadly, from the moment I saw what Oz did to his brothers, I knew Vic was completely screwed. Vic was probably the only person who saw Oz as good. He stood by his side the whole time and helped him become the new king of crime in Gotham City. Oz himself says that he couldn't have done it without him. However, after everything they went through, Oz doesn't hesitate for a moment to take his life with his own hands.
Oz, please.
And yet this son of a bitch still has the discord to take money from his wallet. I mean, he's a complete rat. Vic was not a bad person. He was a person who at his lowest moment met the devil and little by little consumed him until there was absolutely nothing left. Vic was the master tool that the series was built in to give you an understanding of how trash of a person can Oswald Cobblepot be. So they built this relationship between these two characters to finally show you the cruelty in its maximum expression, and thus showing you how a villain is truly portrayed. And I honestly feel that all this wouldn't have worked if it wasn't for HBO. Thanks to The Penguin being a series that premiered on Max, it was able to have quite few freedoms as it can focus on a more adult audience. From the rudeness, the cruelty of the series, and the violence of the characters.
The show, the themes explored are extraordinarily dark.
Thanks to Max freedom, they were able to give us a representation of the character that will truly show us how evil and nasty he is. It actually makes you hate him. This series makes you really hate the protagonist. Normally, other series or movies where the villain is the main character, they make you in some way or another empathize with him. Build him in such a way that his actions, despite being evil, are justified by achieving a greater good. Or maybe not a greater good, but a kind of a justification for the evil acts he's going to commit. For example, John Wick is a villain, he's a serial killer, and yet he makes you completely agree with all the crimes he commits in the movie. He makes you root for him.
I'm thinking I'm back.
He's like killing a person with a pencil and you're like, yes, that's it. John Wick achieves this through a story where they kill his dog, which happens to be the last gift his wife gave him. So this makes you empathize with him. It's like, everybody loves dogs. That was the last gift of her wife. You know, you empathize with him. So the evil is kinda justified. On the other hand, in the Penguin, at no point do they make you empathize with us. The Penguin series is constantly reminding you that the Penguin is not someone good, that he is a horrible person. They don't make you sympathize with him because there is nothing for you to empathize with. This is not a series that is trying to justify that the villain has a motive to commit the crimes and acts of violence that he's committing. This is a series that is showing you the devil at its finest, so much that it makes you eager to see him fall. So when Batman's signal finally kicks in, it's like, yes, yes, run Batman, go and end that guy. I think it's crazy that this series has made us hate the main character. That's something that certainly doesn't happen often. Penguin did an excellent job in showing us a villain at its finest. I'm pretty excited about the future of this Matt Reeves universe. I certainly find the Penguin to be a masterful series and one of the best comic book series currently. I really hope Matt Reeves has in mind many more series of this style of each of Batman's villains, as this would give more depth to each of the characters and make each encounter with Batman unique and special. Without a doubt, Penguin is peak cinema, peak series, whatever you want. And this is how you show a truly bad protagonist.
The most hated here among us, yours truly.